Okay.
That is all right. Let's look at the question number 2. What happened? Question number 2. Now, you have to, now here they are producing two products, right? One is called R, the other one is called S. So they have given two overhead items. One is machine setup cost 180,000. One is the processing cost 108,000. I have to remember that 180,000 is incurred for both the products. 108,000 is also incurred for both the products, right? So what you did was you took the total processing time of R, which is correct, right? Processing time of R per unit it is 3 minutes. 3 minutes. So 80,000 units means 240,000 processing time for R. But that total processing cost of 180,000, 108,000 is not only for the 240. But what about the 300,000? 5 into 60,000. Right? 5 into 60,000 also there is. So the total processing time involved in the whole thing to produce R 3 into 80,000. 240. 5 into 60,000. 300,000. Total processing time involved is 540,000. Now that cost what they have incurred, what is the cost they have incurred? They incurred a cost of
180,000. 108,000.
108,000. 108,000 is incurred for the entire 540. So if you are looking for the cost driver rate, you must divide the 108,000 by the 540,000. Understand?
Yeah.
Right? You must divide the 108,000 by 540,000 to get your cost driver rate. So the cost driver rate is 108 divided by 540 is 20 cents. Right? Is 20 cents is the cost driver rate. Now we have to see for our product. Our product is the first product are we need 240,000 minutes. So per minute 20 cents. Now we have to multiply 240 by 20 cents to find out the total processing cost. Understand? 240,000 is the total processing time for product R. Into 20 cents we must multiply. That will give us for the total product of R, what is the total processing time. So the total processing times comes to 240 into 20 cents, 48,000. 48,000. So now we have to see, okay, they are asking us, what is the question they are asking? Is asking per unit, isn't it?
Yeah.
Budgeted cost per unit. So 48,000 is the total processing cost. How many units are being produced, right? How many units are being produced? For the 48,000, the product, we are looking at the product R. 48,000, we are producing 80,000 units, correct?
Yeah, yeah.
80,000 units. So 40, the total cost that what you have incurred is 48,000. Total number of units produced is 80,000. So 48,000 divided by 80,000 is the answer. Isn't it? 48,000 divided by 80,000 is the answer for the first part of that question. So it should be 60 cents, I think. Yes. 48,000 divided by 80,000. Now, can you similarly think for the other part of the question now? Right? Now the other part of the question is asking about the second product is the budgeted machine setup cost per unit of ACE. So we have been given the total machine setup cost as 180,000. Now can you see the total machine setups for both the products? Well, that 180,000 is incurred for both the products.
Yeah.
So can you see how much of machine time or machine setup for both the products in this table? Are
Mm-hmm.
per batch 3. Right? Machine setups per batch is 3. Yes, machine setups per batch is 3 again per batch. But the batch sizes are different. So on how many
Yeah.
batches? Right?
300, 800.
800 batches. The other one is
1,200.
1,200. So altogether how many batches? Total batches 1,200 plus 800, 2,000
2,000.
batches, is it? Right?
Mm.
So 2,000 batches we have. So the total, so they're asking here machine setup, processing time, yeah, machine setup per batch. So now we have to look at, okay, what is the cost driver? So altogether, how many setups? Number of batches, 800. And number of batches, 1,200. Each batch takes three setups.
Setups.
3 setups. So the R will take 800 into 3. S will take 1,200 into 3, correct?
Yeah.
So what is the total number of setups? 800 into 3, 6,000. So that 180,000 cost is incurred for 6,000 setups.
Yeah.
So you can find out per setup what is the cost.
Yeah.
Per setup is 180,000. 180,000 divided by 6,000 is 186, 30. Correct? 30 per setup.
Mm.
So now we know the 30 per setup. We have been asked for the S per unit the setup cost. So $30 per setup. How many setups for total S? There are 1,200 setups. Sorry, 3,600 setups. 1,200 batches. 1,200 into 3, 3,600 setups. So 3,600 into 30 is the total setup cost for product S. Right? 3,600 into 30 is the total setup cost for the product S. So that is 108,000. How many units are they producing for those total
180,000, no, sir?
180, yeah, 180,000 is the total cost.
Yeah.
Divided by 6,000, 30 per setup.
Yeah.
30 per setup. Yeah. So now we are looking at the product S.
Mm-hmm.
We are looking at the product S. Product S, how many batches? 1,200 batches, correct? For each batch, how many setups? 3. So 1,200 into 3, 3,600 setups. What is the cost per setup? 30.
30.
So 30 into 3,600, 108,000 is the total setup cost of product S.
Okay. Yeah.
Right? How many units are they producing? 60,000 units. So 108,000 divided by 60,000 will give us the setup cost per unit of S.
So we can directly, so we have 30 per setup, right? So that into 30 into 3 setups per batch.
Correct.
So that's 90.
Yes.
90 we can directly divide it by 50, right? The batch size.
Yeah,
so
you can do that one. That also you can do it. Very correct. Yes. Yeah, because per setup, per batch, there are 3 setups. So 30 into 3 is 90. 90 divided by 50, you can get it. Correct. Very good. Yes. Right? Either way you can get it, but you must understand that total cost what they incur, because what you have done in your answer, you have taken
Yeah.
only the
The
products
third,
are,
yeah.
and you have worked it out.
Yeah.
You must take first to take the cost driver. You must understand that total overhead cost is for both the products for the entire thing. So that is how the cost driver rate is taken up, and from there only you have to work it out.
Okay.
Okay, so that's good. So that so long as we understand, that's all right. Then we have the this one. What happened here? This one was a big question. Ah, yeah, this one I did not have the whole answer here. I had the setup cost per batch. You have put 180,000 divided by 6,030. That I had the cost driver rate. That is all right. That is that is question number 3. Question number 3. We are looking at that one. Yeah, 180,000 divided by budget setup per unit. Is this all right? That is all right. Yes. Yeah. So that again we had to. So now we know that one. So this is I'm looking at question number 4 and 5. D, C, D, R, P. Yeah. So there, what did we do? DRP. There, the first part has come up well.
Sorry?
The first part has come up well. Machine setup cost. I did not have you got the answer for the batches? Calculate the annual budget number of batches.
Yeah, I didn't send that to you, sir.
Yeah, I could not see that one, but what is the answer? Have you got the answer?
Yeah, 5,000 batches.
5,000 batches, then it's all right.
So
yeah, then others are 23,000.
Yeah, 23,000 setups,
6,000
purchase orders,
650,000 minutes.
Yeah.
Very good. So that part, the question number 4, the first part has come up very well.
Okay.
Now we have been asked to calculate the budgeted overheads for inclusion in the budget for 2004. That one, where did we go wrong? Because now they are going to change it for the activity-based budgeting. Right? So activity-based budgeting, what did you do? Right? What you did was you took budgeted cost per setup 150,000 divided by 23,000, 652 per setup. That is all right. Then budgeted cost per purchase order 70,000 divided by 6,000, 1167. That is also all right. Processing cost, what is the figure you got? 80,000. That's correct. 80,000 divided by 650,000, isn't it?
Yeah.
That is also correct. 0.12 per unit. That is also all. Now that is the problem. Now what you did was, in all those answers, what you did, you said 1.12 per unit, 11.67 per unit, not per the setup cost, not per 13 per unit.
Yeah.
652 divided by 50 per unit, you got it. 1167 you got per unit 23 cents. That's correct. That is also correct. This one, the last one, per unit. Is it per unit? Now that's the question. Processing, they say have been at budgeted cost for the year ending 34 is 80,000. Right, 80,000. So what you did was you take the 80,000, the total cost, and divided by 200,000 300,000, 500,000, 650,000. Now, what are you getting? Are you getting per unit or per minute?
Per minute.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
You are getting it per minute, isn't it? Right?
Mm-hmm.
So, there we have a problem, no?
Yeah.
We have a problem because what we are getting is per minute. So, the product D is going to take 2 minutes.
Yeah.
We are looking at product R. Sorry, product R is going to take
Yeah.
is going to take 3 minutes. Right?
Yeah.
Product R is going to take 3 minutes. Then the other one, after taking 1167 per bed,
Yeah, that was.
you
Yeah.
worked out the 23 cents, but you put the 1167.
Yeah. Yeah.
Isn't
That
it?
was careless.
Yeah, that is where you have to be very, very careful. Careless mistake, because unfortunately in the OT paper, he don't see any workings. So he only sees the final answer. Now in the earlier paper, he will go by the workings. This kind of a mistake, he will know that you have made a mistake in the entering the figures, and he will give you marks. But unfortunately here, you don't get that one. So after doing all that hard work, you missed it there.
Yeah.
Then also the other one, setup cost. I want to look at that one with you. Setup cost 150,000. Right, 150,000. It is going by the number of batches. So 10, yeah, that is 23 batches. And that one we got a cost of 11 setup cost. We got a 652. 652 per setup. It's not for a batch.
Okay.
Understand? What we have got is what we got was 150,000 is the total setup cost, and we have basically the other machine setup per batch is 3, right? So you have what we have got as that figure 652 is per setup.
Yeah.
Setup. So we have to see per unit now. So for the product R, there are 4 setups. You can look at from that angle. 652 into 4 divided by 50 would have been the answer. Isn't it? 652 is per setup. For the product R, there are 4 setups. 652 into 4 divided by 50 would have given the unit price. So they are almost came to the answer, but just few lapses here and there have missed the mark. This is a good question. This probably would have collected, this kind of a question would have collected more than 2.5 marks, maybe about 5 marks we would have collected, but in vain to lose after doing all the hard work on this kind of a question. So you have to be careful. So this is where you went wrong on that one. All the workings are perfect. So that's it there. Now you understand, no, where you have gone wrong?
Yeah.
5, 6, and 8. Here what happened? Here.
Just of course I wasn't sure. I just gave it a try, but I was not very sure of that.
Yeah, let's look at that. K makes many products, one of which is product Z. K is considering adopting an activity-based costing approach for setting its budget in place of the current practice of absorbing overheads using direct labor hours. The main budget category is cost driver for the October set out below, excluding the direct material cost. So you have to remember, labor is not an overhead. So the 3 overheads that is there, that they are split into the 3 activities are setup, quality testing, and other overhead costs. Right? Quality test is performed after every 75 units produced. Following data for Z product is provided. Direct labor, all that is done, batch size, setup budgeted for 150,000. Calculate the budgeted unit of product for October, assuming that a direct labor absorption method was used for all overhead. So one thing you have to understand, sometimes the question they ask only to calculate the overhead cost. Now here they have asked to calculate the budgeted unit cost. So budgeted unit cost means material, labor and overheads. Right? Material, labor and overhead. So material we know it is straight away 2150. Labor 128,000 divided by 8,000. In the second part of the question you had done that one. 128,000 divided by 8,000, 16 per hour. This product is going to take, how many hours it is going to take? 16 per hour.
8,000 hours.
The product is going to take per unit. The product is going to take 0.3 hours. Right? 0.3 hours. So 16 per hour.
0.2.
Yeah, 0.3. So 16 per hour, 16 into 0.3. The labor is 480. Agree? 16 per hour. 0.3 hours means 16 times 0.3, 480. Now, the overheads. So, for absorption costing, we don't split the overheads into setup and quality and all that. The entire this thing is overhead. 128,000 is the total overhead. And under absorption costing, they say overheads are absorbed by labor rate. Labor hours. So, 128,000 divided by 8,000 is the overhead absorption rate. I was wondering how you put 128,000 and then you cut it and then you put 32,000. I was wondering how you got that 32,000 figure. Rightly you had done it, but something has upset you.
32 was, that other overhead cost is absorbed by direct labor hours, so I thought it has to be.
Yeah, all the under absorption costing, everything is overhead. Setup is overhead, quality is overhead, other overhead is also overhead. Understand? Right? Because normally generally if there was no activity base, everything will be overhead. But under activity based costing, they split it into activities. So there are two main activities. Third one, which they cannot really identify as an activity, they have put it as other overheads. But all are overheads. So you should have taken the 128,000 divided by 8,000, 16. So 16 is the rate per overhead, right? 60, the 100, 34, 56, 34, 56, 88,000, no?
88, yeah.
Yeah, 88,000. 88,000 divided by 8,000, 11 is the overhead absorption rate. 11 is the overhead absorption rate. And this product is taking 0.3 labor hours. So 11 into 0.3 is your overhead rate. 11 into 0.3. So we will put 330. And that should be your total costing under absorption costing. Total product cost is 2550 plus 480 plus 330, which is working out to 2960. Is it all right by you?
How did you get 2550?
2150. That is the material cost.
Okay.
It is already given. Labor, we have 128,000 divided by 8,000, 16 per labor hour. 0.3 labor hours per one of these units, 480. Then overhead is absorbed on the labor hours basis. Total overheads are 88,000, including setup, including quality testing, including other overhead, 88,000. 88,000 divided by 8,000 is 11 overhead absorption rate. 11 into 0.3, 330.
Okay.
So, coming closer, of course, I mean, in this question, this paper, you don't get any marks for the workings, but still, you know, get the right working. So 128,000 should have been the one, not the 32,000. In almost in all these activity-based costing questions, they will first put the overhead absorption question, and then they will say they are changing it to activity-based, and in that case, what is our new costing? So let's look at the second part of it now, when it is activity-based costing. So we have rightly worked out the labor hours, right, which is 16 per hour, which is right. Set up 250, you have worked it out. The quality testing, how did you get 30,000 divided by 40? I think that was a careless mistake again, I think.
Quality test.
40 test, yeah, right. Quality testing cost is 34,000. You put 30. Why?
Must be careless.
Careless, yes. And even the division is careless. Calculator also has been little bit careless. 34 divided by 34,000 divided by 40 should be 850.
50, yeah.
Would have been sleeping at that time, no? Right? So these are the things where you have to be careful. You are doing very well, but little, you know, these things, unfortunately in our OT paper, we don't get any marks for our workings. So because of that, workings doesn't matter at all. Workings we need it for our calculation purposes, but unfortunately that's not good enough. But having done all that, where did we, what happened to the question? Okay, now we have to calculate it on the basis of base costing. We worked out all that figures now, right? So direct labor, we have worked it out all that. So direct material 2150, direct labor 480 should have been there. What? I could not understand what you did. 150, why did you take it? Oh, you have to work for the entire total cost, and why did you, I'm trying to see labor, 16 times 0.3 is all right, but why you multiplied by 150? Because of the budgeted volume. Yeah. And after that you are dividing it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, after that you are dividing it again. So it's all right, but the unnecessary time, no? We can take we can take the 2150 straight away. Material cost. 16 times 0.3 per unit we can take, because since we have unit ones, we can take that one. Now setup cost. Setup cost 250 into 2. 250 into 2. 250 into 2, it's all right. That made you to multiply by 5. 250 into 2 is 2,500. What made you to multiply by 5? I'm trying to find out.
How many units in a batch?
Yeah, that's correct. So that is also correct. But again, you have taken a longer cut, but that's all right. 60, 67 is all right. Then quality testing, 2 into 80, 160.
It should have been 2 into 850, no?
Yeah, 2 into 850, yes. 2 into 850, that is 1,700. And that divided by 50. That divided by not 50, 150. Yeah. Yes, that should have given you the answer there. So that again, almost there, but missed it, no? Then other overheads, it is 4 per hour, that is all right. So it is 180 divided by 150, should have been 180. So that has come right. So that has comes right. That because of the setup cost, I think only you mixed it up. Others are
quality testing.
Quality testing because of that wrong calculation. Now you can see after doing all the hard work, one little mistake could have cost you that all the marks, no? And that could have made the difference between your pass mark and pass and the fail. So this is why we have to, unfortunately, we must be very, very careful with our numbers and calculations and try to work it through. So yeah, so it's not so bad as what I thought. I could not understand some of the answers we have got in, but now I see. But try to cut down on your time rather than trying to multiply by 150 and divide it by 150, because the time is so precious in this 90 minutes time but we have, you can easily, would have done it, taking the per unit one, isn't it?
Yeah. What's the answer per unit? Is 55.5?
55.5, that's correct, yes. So you have worked it out, isn't it?
I just didn't.
Yeah, I know. It's so easy. Just missed few lines. 55-50 should have been the answer. Good. So the your understanding is good. I think little bit more careful approach should be able to get through that one. Yeah, the theory part question, very unlikely in the OT paper we will have a theory part question. But the idea of that question was for me to tell you something. Basically, what I want to say is identify two implications of this for the management. Now, that can be a question. They might give a couple of things and ask, by shifting to activity-based costing, what are the implications? So remember we learned last time when we were learning the application, it is more efficient. It will help us to manage our resources more efficiently because we have a greater understanding of our overhead cost and the cost behavior. And also we will have better costing information for planning, control, and decision making. And also it will facilitate more realistic pricing to cover fixed overheads based on how they are incurred by different products. And finally, it will help us for better profitability analysis of different products. So those are the benefits, or those are the main key attributes of ABC. And if at all why we are shifting to ABC, it should be for one of those four purposes which I just mentioned. I'll try to send you some of these answers. I think I must be having some of the answers. I worked it out. I'll try to send some of these answers for you. So that is all right. Then question number 8 downwards, you are not done, no?
Yeah, I did then 50. I skipped to the MCQs,
Yeah. We will just go into the answers what you do and we'll come back again to these questions.
Okay.
I want to look at that 8 to 14 also with you. But before that, let's look at the question number 15, which you have done, the MCQ. I think that's a good idea in the exam because sometimes when the calculations are not coming right, first finish up all the MCQs where you know the answer. Because that way you can collect lot of marks and go for a second round, go for a third round with the calculations. That way you will manage your time much better. So 15 question, ABC system refers to a Japanese style something, inventory management method that concentrates efforts on the most important items, accuracy, briefly, clarity in quality of system reporting, a mainframe solution to managing inventory. So actually the ABC system is a way of managing the inventory that concentrates efforts on more important items. So by having good activity-based costing, you will know your inventory values and that way you can manage your inventory. So your answer B is correct. 16. Which of these is an advantage of ABC? very good for a company which has one or two products. Doesn't matter whether it's one or two products, right? In fact, it is better when you have more products. Gives 100% illustration of what drives fixed cost, not really, right? It doesn't give 100% illustration. Some of the things like in the earlier question we saw, there is no driving of a fixed cost. Cheap to run and maintain, no, that is wrong. It is very expensive. More efficient management of resources, that is the right answer, and that is what you have given. So that's also good. Then the next question is 17. Yeah, what? 17. Yeah. For a hospital, which of these does not seem like a sensible activity and cost driver? So your answer, you have given B, phone appointments, number of patients. Phone appointments, number of patients. Insurance for building, maintenance cost, I think is surely something which is a sensible activity, cost driver and a cost activity. Right? Patient maintenance, reception, patient maintain, reception, number of patients, I think that is also good. Look at the D and B. It has to be differently between B and D. Length of patient stay, is it the number of patients or is it the number of patient days? Is it?
Number of patient days.
Yeah, because it's not the number of patients, the length of patient stay. It is the number of patient days. There can be many patients, but who are going to stay for 12 days, who are going to stay for 3 weeks, who are going to stay for 2 months. So the cost driver, the cost what is going to drive the cost of a patient stay is not the number of patients, isn't it? So I think D is the right answer there. B is it's number of patients, the telephone calls, phone appointments, you can go by the number of patients. This is what the channeling does.
Yeah.
So more appropriate the what is not really is in a sensible activity cost driver combination in the D. So I think answer should be D on that one. Then we have that is 15, 16, 17, 18. Satisfying customers whilst minimizing resources use is an example of, and they are given something 15, 16, 17, 18. Your answer is B. Satisfying customer whilst minimizing resources use is an example of customer profitability analysis, activity-based management, distribution channel profitability, and business process re-engineering. Satisfying customers whilst minimizing resource use is an example of, actually it is coming from activity-based management. One of the byproduct is the customer profitability analysis and all that. Right? Basically, the product profitability analysis, all those are the products that is coming from activity-based management. But satisfying customers whilst minimizing resource, the tool what you use is the customer profitability analysis. You are right. But the answer for the question should be, it is activity-based management.
Yeah.
So that's the answer should be for that one. So those are the questions you have sent it to me now, no?
Yeah.
Shall we look at some of the earlier questions which we missed? We'll look at some of those questions what we missed before we start the new lesson. So we went through 8, we went through
9 also we did.
9, did we go to 9?
Yeah.
9 is all right. I don't have the answer with you. 9, but is it all right by you?
No, sir, I didn't do 9. I skipped it. I started and I skipped it.
Right, okay. 9, any problems you had? Let's look at the 9th question. SM makes two products, Z1 and Z2, right? Now here, some of these questions you have to be careful with these minutes and hours also. That's also another unwanted complication sometimes the examiner brings. They give it in hours, they give it in units, and they give it in minutes, all that. So it'll be two products. Machines can only work on one product at a time. Two products are worked in two departments, department 1, by differing grades of labor. The labor requirement for the two products are as follows. Minutes per unit of product. You said 1, department 1, 12 minutes, 16 minutes, department 2, 20 minutes, 15 minutes. There's currently a shortage of labor, and the maximum time available each day in department 1 and 2 are 480 and 840. Current selling price and cost for the two products are shown below. Selling price is given, materials, direct labor, all that given. As part of the budget setting, the SM needs to know the optimum output levels. All output is sold. So calculate the maximum number of each product that could be produced each day, identifying the limiting factor, bottleneck. So first of all, what we have to look at is each of the department. We know the limiting factor is the labor. Labor. So we have to see department 1, right? Department 1, they have only how many? 480 minutes. So 480 minutes is total department 1 labor. If they produce Z1, each is going to take 12 minutes. So maximum they can produce is 480 divided by 12, 40. Correct? Department 1. If they produce only, because they can only produce one of the product at a time. So they can produce, if they produce only Z1, they can only produce 40. If they produce the other one, 480 divided by 16, 30. Similarly, if you look at the 840, department 2, if they produce product, Z1, 840 divided by 20, 42. 840 divided by 15, 56. So from here, what we can see is department 1 is the limiting factor or the bottleneck. Right? Because the department 2, we can see it can go up to 42 and 56, but department 1 is only can produce either 40 or 30. So that is the binding constraint, because in the department 1, as far as Z1 is concerned, department 2 can go up to 42, right? As far as Z2 is concerned, department 2 can go up to 56. So the binding constraint is department 1. So now what we have to look at is we have to consider for you have to consider just, so we know now the department 1 is our problem area, right? How do we know? Because department 2 can go to 42 and 56, but department 1 we have to stop it either at 40 or 30. So now you work out the contribution per Z1 and Z2 per unit. Now can you quickly work out the contribution per Z1? Z1, what is the contribution per unit? Contribution is sales minus variable cost.
Variable cost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How much contribution per unit?
It's 10.
No. You said 1. $50 is the selling price.
Yeah.
Look at the variable cost. Direct materials 10, direct labor 1040, variable overhead 640, fixed overheads 1280. So what is your total contribution per unit?
So 23.2.
23.2, right? 23.2. Can you quickly work out the department? Sorry, you said 2 also.
Yeah, 65 minus 15 minus 6.2. 34.6.
34.60, right? Now,
Yeah.
we know Z1 brings a contribution of 2320, Z2 brings a contribution of 3460. But we know Z1, department 1 is our problem. Z1 to produce, it takes 12 minutes per unit. So we can find out contribution per minute now. 2320 divided by 12 will give us the contribution per minute. Contribution per minute, how much? 2320 divided by 12 per unit. It takes 12 minutes.
1.93.
Yeah. Can you similarly work out for Z2?
34.6
See?
divided by 16.
16, yes.
It's 2.16.
2.16. So if I rank it, I know because my limiting constraint is department 1. So because of that, my first priority will be to produce Z2, correct?
Yeah.
Z2. So with my labor hours, I have only 480 minutes of labor. I will produce the maximum of Z2. Right? Z2. So Z2 is going to take 16 minutes per unit. So what is they given us the maximum demand or something like
I think
that.
we have to calculate.
Yeah, so we know out of with the total 480 minutes, right? So the 216 is our contribution, and what we will do is we will look at with the 480 minutes available, how many units we can produce it. Each unit is going to take 16 minutes. Because here, the problem here is they said here, machines can only one product at a time. Right? So they ask the maximum number of each product that could be produced each day and identify the limiting factor. So there's we are not being given a maximum demand. If there was a maximum demand, we will go up to the maximum demand. But here we don't have a maximum demand. So with the 480 minutes, we will go and produce the product Z2. Right? We will go and produce the product Z2. So with the 480 minutes, we can produce how many units? We can produce 30 units. Right?
How did you get 30 units?
We have only 480 minutes now. We have only 480 minutes each day. 480 minutes. And each unit of Z2 takes 16 minutes, and that is my priority product. So because of that, I will go and start and because since there is no maximum demand given, if there was a maximum demand, I will stop it at a particular point. But since there is no maximum demand given, I will go on producing only the Z2. And that's what we will do. We will produce. So what is the question they are asking us? Calculate the maximum number of each product that could be produced each day and identify the limiting. So limiting factor is the division 1, and we will produce the maximum products that for a day we will produce is Z2 30. That's all. That's all we have to look at.
Yeah.
Have you learned we didn't do, but have you learned throughput accounting? Throughput accounting, do you know anything about throughput accounting? What is it?
Throughput accounting is only material cost is
Yeah.
Material cost is considered as the overhead.
No, only material cost is
It's
considered as the
excluded.
variable cost. Only material cost is considered as the variable cost.
Variable.
Every other thing is considered as overheads, including labor. Now in marginal costing, we take the direct materials, direct labor, and variable overheads as direct cost. But in throughput costing, we only look at only one cost we look at, and that is only the material, and sales minus material is what we call the throughput. Right? So basically what we do is we work out the throughput costing, and then we look at again the things like, the break even, not the break even, the constraint. We work it earlier question we worked it out on the contribution. But here we don't work out on the contribution, we work it out on the throughput basis. So here, if you look at that same question, look at what is happening. Selling price is 50, direct materials is 10. Throughput contribution is 40.
40.
Second one, throughput contribution is 50. Right? And now we look at again the same thing. We know our division 1 labor is the problem. So 40 divided by the labor. Right? First it is going to take 12 minutes, the first one. So throughput contribution is 40. Throughput contribution is 55. 40 divided by 12 will give my throughput contribution per minute. So throughput contribution per minute is 40 divided by 12, which is 333. Correct? Second one, what is the throughput contribution per minute? 65 minus 50, 50.
50 divided by
50 divided by
16, 3.12.
3.13. Yeah,
3.1. Yeah, 13.
Yeah. Now can you see, if you use the throughput accounting, what is our ranking going to be? Our ranking, we seem to be, he said one seemed to be better, isn't it? And the contribution, it was the other way about. He said one is better, and this second one will be this one. So here again, since there is no maximum sale, here we will go and produce Z1. Z1 we can produce 480 minutes. Each unit is going to take 12 minutes. We can produce 40 units. 40 units. So I will look at the throughput also in one of our sessions, because that's also another new area that has come up. And today, most of the people use the throughput accounting rather than the contribution, because all of us have realized labor is no longer a variable cost, because all the government regulations, everything says the minimum wages must be paid, and therefore labor is no longer a variable cost, and only true variable cost is the material. And under throughput costing, when we value inventory, we value only the material cost. So all the other costs what we have added during the process is useless. In marginal costing, we value the inventory at marginal cost, direct material, direct labor, plus variable overhead. In total absorption costing, we value the material inventory at total production cost, including the fixed overheads being absorbed. But for accounting purposes, IS2, we can't go by throughput accounting, we can't go by marginal accounting, we must go by absorption costing. Inventory should be valued at total production cost. Right? So, next, now you can look at the balance part of the questions also. Right? There are a few more questions. Look at those questions also and try to send me the answers. And I will go to all those answers also. then we can, what I can do is I can just, no need to take our time here, but I want to go to today for you to understand the question. So then I can go through the things and I can give you the feedback over the email.
Okay.
Right. So next lesson, we are going to look at various costing techniques like target costing, all that kind of a thing, and also see whether we can work on the learning curve also. Wednesday, how are you?
Wednesday is fine, sir.
Shall we make it Wednesday?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I will see you on Wednesday same time, and we will go through. Now look at the other questions and just go on doing the other work. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. So I'll see you on Wednesday morning, 11 o'clock. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay. Right. Have a great day.
Thank you.